All right, we're in the midst of maybe a little cleaning here in the shop, so don't mind the mess. We got the aluminum base pan, and it's aluminum. So first thing we've got to do is actually cut it down, but you use some wax, just an old candle wax, and you rub that on the disc, get a little bit on the metal. And what that does is it fills in the nooks and crannies of the disc so it doesn't explode, right? If you get aluminum bound up inside this disc, it has nowhere to go and it just keeps kind of shoving deeper into the disc, and then it'll crack and then blow up. So we put wax on here to kind of embed in the disc, and then we cut down here. You can buy aluminum specific discs, but if you don't have an aluminum one, that's your next best thing. Delightful. Look at all that wax buildup. Oh, it's going to be so much fun to clean, but better safe than sorry. I'm going to take the sanding pad and we'll just clean this up a little bit, and it'll be ready to drop in. All right, so we are here on site with the fire pit, and Frenchie, the bulldog, Justin and Wes. So we're going to just take a look at this lid, show you how it fits, show you the pan that the burners will sit on. All right, so our lid, it's not painted yet. I'm going to take it back and get painted. It's just essentially a little pan that's bent on three sides, right? And it sits down, but you can tell this corner and this corner over here are a little proud. Super flush right there, proud of that. Super flush right here, proud of that. So we're just gonna grind a little bit underneath where that rest is and see if we can't get this to sit a little bit more flush. Okay, and then yeah. This is the aluminum insert that's gonna go down into the bottom here that the burners will sit on, and you'll be able to fill this up with the gravel or lava rock. It's super tight fit. Fits down in there super nice. I'm not gonna let it drop, because the second you let it drop, you gotta flip the whole fire pit to get it out. So you can see I did a little relief cut so I could get it past the little tabs that hold it. I could have made this probably a 1/4 inch narrower, and I wouldn't have need to do that, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Just took a flap wheel and made those 4 notches. So yeah, super awesome. Love the way this turned out. If you just take a look at the fire pit in space, I think they picked an excellent color that goes well with the nice light stone. They have a matte black planter box, and it's just a super good transition going from one to the other. So once we get this thing buttoned up, it's gonna be sweet out here. All right, so we you just saw us kind of notch the 4 tab spots on the lid, and I don't know, I thought I got a close-up of how high it was, but we were probably 1/4 inch high, 3/16 high on 2 spots. Well, we took those down, and then we decided that a 3rd spot over there needed to come down 1/8. After we got that one down, this one came down 1/16, if that. And now we're talking nice and smooth. It's so flat down there. It has that weird optical illusion because of the rolls. As I put my square on here, you can say I don't have any teeter, and so we're really happy with that. And then to pull it out, you just kind of push down on one side. So I'll give Justin a little hand there. As a single person, you just do that. We got our gas line down in there. Next, we're going to take a look at these burners that Justin got and show you how they're going to get hooked up. But then a plumber's coming in a couple days, and he's going to take a look at it and help Justin get it hooked up. And then we'll have a good final montage of how it looks when it's all done. All right, so this is the burner kit that Justin got. Justin, how much was this kit?
I think with the key, I think it was about 140 bucks.
140 bucks, all right? Just so you know, when you get into something like this, all right, this little valve right here is able to be turned on and off from the side. So there's a fairly decent sized hole right here that Justin will have to get drilled in to the side of the fire pit or the end of the fire pit, and basically it allows you to leave that valve on right there, and then it'll go into this T, and then you can turn it on and off from the outside instead of have to lift it up every time. And the plumber, what he's gonna do, what's that piece of it?
It's just a longer key.
Okay. Oh, okay. And so the plumber's gonna come in, and he will get the basically a fitting from here to here with the key built into it somewhere. And so if we put the aluminum pan on here, you can see that he's got this rise, right? This rise is probably a 3-inch rise, maybe a 2-inch from the threads up. And that's where somewhere in here he's gonna put probably a nut. Then he'll drill a hole into the aluminum, and then he'll put a second nut. So he needs like a shoulder nut, like a skinny one. That'll sit down on the aluminum, and then he'll thread it, the bottom one on, and it'll leave it right in place. And so this will sit about right on top of the rock or so. And if he wanted to go lower, he probably could. We might need to weld a washer in if he wanted to go lower.
And we might do that.
Yeah, I think so, because I think he wanted this underneath.
We want it to be about that high.
Yeah, we wanted that. So the pan will be right there. So yeah, you probably want to come a 1-inch up, and then I can just get a big fender washer.
Okay. We'll
tack that on, and then we can get a spacer underneath here.
Okay.
That way when you thread this on, the bottom shoulder nut, it'll pinch it down in there.
Right. Cool.
So we got to wait for the plumber, and that'll be the next section here, but it'll seem like 2 seconds for you guys. All right, so this is a little bit of a staging kind of what it's going to look like with our... we rented this Verger. If you would like to purchase, no, we're good. So, yeah, I think this is looking really good. And coming soon, we'll have a video of some flames.
All right, here is the update to the fire pit. It's been a rainy day, so we have the furniture covered. We'll send another one in a little bit with all of it up. Plumber came, did a hard pipe in of the fire feature here and put it exactly at 15 inches tall. And then we've got a key right here. And then we did some aluminum base, but I wanted to be able to get to it, so I cut it up into pieces so that I can just put it over. It should be fine with once we get the rock in, so it'll give it a little bit of drainage, but also keep all of the rock in there. Once we turn on the gas here, it's a long key. You'll hear it in just a sec here. Hear it coming out. And then I'll turn it down at these. So there's our feature, our fire. Got a little bit of fire going on there. It's looking pretty good. A little bit of wind still, but I think once we get some rock in there and covering it, I hope to have a lot of that go away, but I think it looks pretty good. So here we go with the fire pit feature. We'll get kind of the lower view. Nice cover for that part. If you go around to this side, you'll see the key. Really easy way to take this off is you just kind of get underneath it. It's hard to do with one hand, but you just barely get your hand underneath there. You can just pull it off. Just put it down here for a minute. And then you've got your fire pit. So, just a sec, I'll show you how it runs. Okay, so here's the key valve. We have an extra long one in there. Goes in here. And you can kind of hear it in there. And that is it. It's a pretty big flame there. Gives a really good look. Here's just the flames. Fire pit. It gets a little breezy back here sometimes, but we did these little round lava. It gets a little bit, and then you can kind of play with, let's go back wide angle. You can play with the size of it, so you can go from right there. Kind of very delicate. You can go really big if you really want, but there's quite a bit of heat that comes off of that too.